The calm before Week 1 of the NFL season is always something to behold. Every team has several breakout candidates. Every coach is either new blood or somehow reinvigorated. Every fan believes his or her team has a lot more winnable games on the schedule than other people might think. A lot of that enthusiasm will fade by Sunday night, but for now, everyone can bask in the glow of the league having 32 perfect teams. Here's a look at NFL Week 1, with all picks made against the point spread. If you need a quick primer on how betting lines work, scroll to the bottom of this article. Rams at Panthers, 1 p.m., Fox. Line, Rams minus 2.5. Total, 50. After his awful first season in the NFL, it was somewhat reasonable to wonder if Jared Goff was a franchise quarterback or if he had simply been a creation of Sonny Dykes' offense at Cal. After his third season in the NFL, in which he led his team to the Super Bowl, Goff was rewarded with the largest guaranteed contract in NFL history, $110 million. Call him a system quarterback if you must, but Goff has reeled off 2 incredible seasons under coach Sean McVay. He's 24-7 under McVay after going 0-7 under Jeff Fisher and John Fassel. McVay, the coach nearly every team is tripping over itself to emulate, said he'd be happy for them to be stuck together for a long time. The Super Bowl hangover, however, is something that has affected many teams in the recent past, with the prime example being Goff's opponent this week, Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers, who followed his incredible 2015 season, in which he won MVP and made it to the Super Bowl, by going 6-10 in 2016. An emphatic statement that the Rams won't follow a similar path would be to open the season with a win on the road. Pick, Rams minus 2.5. Chiefs at Jaguars, 1 p.m., CBS. Line, Chiefs minus 3.5. Total, 51.5. Jacksonville's new offensive coordinator, John DeFilippo, was the quarterback's coach in Philadelphia in 2017, so he saw up close what adjustments were made to accommodate Nick Foles. He will now be asked to apply similar updates to the Jaguars in hopes of rekindling that magic and allowing the team's offense to keep up with its defense after years of stagnation under Blake Bortles. That defense, as talented as it may be, will get a brutal test facing quarterback Patrick Mahomes, the league's reigning MVP. The running back situation is still not entirely clear in Kansas City, and a bad defense lost multiple good players over the offseason, so a win on the road is hardly guaranteed. But after Mahomes threw 50 touchdown passes in his first year as a starter, the expectations for him are truly outrageous. Pick, Jaguars plus 3.5. Steelers at Patriots, 8:20 p.m., NBC. Line, Patriots minus 5.5. Total, 49.5. In 2010, a 33-year-old Tom Brady, bolstered by the addition of a dynamic rookie tight end named Rob Gronkowski, went 14-2 and erased any doubts that had arisen over the previous 2 seasons, one in which he missed all but one game and the other in which he went 10-6. Gronkowski played an entire Hall of Fame career over the last 9 seasons, retiring after his 3rd Super Bowl win because his body simply couldn't recover from the abuse any longer. Brady, at 42, is still in the midst of that renaissance that began 10 years ago. The Steelers are good enough to make the spread a bit insulting, but betting against Brady and the Patriots in prime time is a fool's errand. Pick, Patriots minus 5.5. Giants at Cowboys, 4:25 p.m., Fox. Line, Cowboys minus 7.5. Total, 45.5. Daniel Jones opened a lot of eyes during the preseason, likely persuading more than a few people to delete their social media posts that mocked him on draft night. Is he the real deal? Can he replace Eli Manning as the Giants' starting quarterback this season? Would the Giants be better off simply transitioning to him now? Those are the big questions for Big Blue, and Jones would be wise to seek advice from Dak Prescott in terms of how to gracefully take the reins from a superstar in decline. Manning might want to reach out to Tony Romo to better understand the other half of the equation, as well. Pick, Cowboys -7.5. Packers at Bears, 8:20 p.m., NBC. Line, Bears -3. Total, 46.5. Bringing together the Packers and the Bears, the NFL's most bitter and long-standing rivals to open the league's 100th season, makes sense on many levels. Just don't get caught up in the fact that the Packers, who began as an independent club, did not join the NFL precursor, the American Professional Football Conference, until its second season. But even as the league celebrates its history, this game will be very much about the present, with two of the NFL's youngest head coaches, the Bears' Matt Nagy, 41, and the Packers' Matt LaFleur, 39, squaring off in a battle of offensive wunderkinder. The pressure seems to be greater for LaFleur, who cut his teeth under the Rams coach, Sean McVay. He has the unenviable task of managing the waning prime of Aaron Rodgers in a way that Mike McCarthy could not achieve over the last few seasons. Rodgers will go into Chicago's Soldier Field with a 16-5 career record against the Bears, LaFleur's updated playbook, and a defense bolstered by several key additions. Pick, Packers +3. Colts at Chargers, 4:05 p.m., CBS. Line, Chargers -6.5. Total, 44.5. Andrew Luck was never expected to be ready for Week 1, so to act as if his sudden retirement affected the Colts' chances in this game is a bit ridiculous. If anything, the realization that this is now Jacoby Brissett's team may be a boon early, as the team can build its playbook around him rather than simply view him as a placeholder for Luck. Whether the Colts will be good is an entirely different story. Indianapolis was a playoff team with Luck, and Brissett will get an extended chance to show if the same is true with him under center. A road game against Philip Rivers and the Chargers in Week 1 doesn't seem like a place for optimism. Pick, Chargers -6.5. Titans at Browns, 1 p.m., CBS. Line, Browns -5. Total, 45.5. Last year began with Browns fans hoping the team could eke out a single victory at some point, in hopes that bars around Cleveland would unlock refrigerators of promotional beer intended to mark the end of Cleveland's misery. What a difference a year makes. Led by Baker Mayfield, and empowered by the offensive acumen of coach Freddie Kitchens, the Browns have become a darling of the NFL. That should only be bolstered by the acquisition of Odell Beckham Jr., a dynamic wide receiver who had worn out his welcome with the Giants. One look at Mayfield and it's clear that no personality is too big for Cleveland, so Beckham will presumably fit in just fine. The Titans had a tendency to grind out difficult games last year, but with the Browns energized by a lively crowd in Cleveland, the fairly large spread should not be an issue. Pick, Browns -5. Lions at Cardinals, 4:25 p.m., Fox. Line, Lions -2.5. Total, 46.5. There are no two coaches in the NFL more diametrically opposed, in both personality and overall strategy, than Detroit's Matt Patricia and Arizona's Cliff Kingsbury. Looking to bring his modified air raid approach to the pro game, Kingsbury has put the ball in Kyler Murray's hands and is hoping the rookie quarterback and 2018 Heisman Trophy winner can put up video game numbers not unlike another of his protégés, Patrick Mahomes. Pick, Cardinals +2.5. Bills at Jets, 1 p.m., CBS. Line, Jets -3. Total, 40.5. The Jets got themselves a Peyton Manning-approved head coach, Adam Gase, to try to unlock the immense promise in Sam Darnold's arm. They also scored Le'Veon Bell, a superstar running back, in free agency after Bell's holdout, and eventual exit, last season with Pittsburgh. The seeds seem to be there for a breakout season, but don't overlook the Bills. They saw what Josh Allen, the team's young quarterback, does best: throw the ball deep, and they got him a pair of wide receivers, John Brown and Cole Beasley, who can take advantage of that. In Week 1, however, Allen will have to restrain himself or else Greg Williams, the Jets' hyper-aggressive defensive coordinator, will make him pay for any mistakes. Pick, Jets -3. Falcons at Vikings, 1 p.m., Fox. Line, Vikings -4. Total, 48. In Minnesota's third preseason game this year, Dalvin Cook, the team's third-year running back, showed why the team should be excited for his return. He was not expected to even play in his team's eventual win over Arizona, but the Vikings decided to give him 2 carries, and on one of them he broke a tackle and ran for an 85-yard touchdown. A formidable run game could ease the pressure on Kirk Cousins and get Minnesota back where it thought it would be last season. Pick, Vikings -4. Redskins at Eagles, 1 p.m., Fox. Line, Eagles -10. Total, 45. Case Keenum is fine. He's not the long-term solution at quarterback for Washington. Dwayne Haskins has that role, but Keenum, when allowed some freedom to play to his own strengths, is decidedly fine. That, combined with a team that was actually fairly plucky before Alex Smith's season-ending injury last year, could make Washington far more formidable than it might seem at a glance. In an opening week with a few curiously large spreads, this one stands out as perhaps the most aggressive. Pick, Redskins +10. Bengals at Seahawks, 4:05 p.m., CBS. Line, Seahawks -9.5. Total, 44. There's plenty of reason to believe that coach Zach Taylor has something special about him and that he can modernize a stagnant Bengals approach. After all, he's one of just 4 head coaches in the N.F.L. who got there without having first been an offensive or defensive coordinator at the pro level. But is Andy Dalton the quarterback to run the type of frantic play-action offense that Taylor will presumably have brought over from the Rams? A road game in Seattle seems like a terrible time to find out. Seattle should win, but covering such a wide spread is far from a given. Pick, Bengals +9.5. 4.9 ERS at Buccaneers, 4:25 p.m., Fox. Line, even. Total, 51. Most of the chatter has been about the return of Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, but based on his uneven play in the preseason, the 49 ERS key to improvement in the early going might be more dependent on a rebuilt defensive front, where the team added a superstar rusher in D. Ford and a solid linebacker in Quan Alexander, and drafted a potential difference maker in Nick Bosa, who is expected to play in Week 1 despite working his way back from an ankle injury. Tampa Bay has the potential to improve a great deal on the offensive side with coach Bruce Arians running the show and Byron Leftwich, the team's first-year offensive coordinator, calling plays. But in terms of overall talent, San Francisco has an edge, even on the road. Pick, 4.9 ERS. Ravens at Dolphins, 1 p.m., CBS. Line, Ravens -6.5. Total, 38.5. Whether the Ravens can continue to run roughshod over the entire NFL with a scheme unlike anything the NFL has seen since the 1950s will have to be determined another week. It's hard to get any sense of a team's quality when it is going up against a team like Miami, which seems more interested in compiling assets for the future than winning football games. The spread, however, is a bit excessive for a run-centric team like Baltimore going against an opposing quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who has been known to put points on the board. That makes things a bit of a coin flip, but Lamar Jackson will probably be trying to prove a point, and that may give Baltimore the edge it needs to cover. Pick, Ravens -6.5. Texans at Saints, 7:10 p.m., ESPN. Line, Saints -7. Total, 52.5. Playing in New Orleans can be intimidating, with Drew Brees and the Saints offense threatening to score on every single play. But the Texans should be extremely confident based on some shrewd off-season acquisitions and the continued development of Deshaun Watson. This game could easily turn into a shootout, and while Brees at home should always be given the edge, expecting him to win by a full touchdown is a bit much. Pick, Texans +7. Broncos at Raiders, 10:20 p.m., ESPN. Line, even. Total, 43.5. Antonio Brown picked a helmet. He'll probably have a new thing to complain about very soon, like team fines, but the helmet issue is settled. Regardless of Brown's drama, optimism abounds in Oakland, where the Raiders will enter year 2 of the second John Gruden era looking to erase the memories of an uneven 2018. They open with a home game against a division rival that has turned to Joe Flacco in hopes of stabilizing a lackluster offense and to coach Vic Fangio to try to reignite what had been a ferocious defense just a few years ago. This game could easily go either way. Odds makers made it even for a reason, so Oakland gets the slightest of edges based on playing at home. Pick, Raiders. All times are Eastern. A quick primer for those who don't understand betting lines. Favorites are listed next to a negative number that represents how many points they must win by to cover the spread. Bears -3, for example, means that Chicago must beat the Packers by more than 3 points for its backers to win their bet. Gamblers can also bet on the total, whether the total number of points scored in the game is over or under a pre-selected number of points.